welcome to race number 4 of the Try and Z eSeries, brought to you by Domestique. Here with my co-commentator, Rob Dallymore. I'm pretty excited for this one. I said last week was my favorite course, but actually I do really like this one as well.
Yeah, this is a really cool course. I was just going over the map before, and I'm putting myself in the position of where these key sections are, and it's a really great course for people that know this particularly well. People who aren't astute to it and don't really know the tricks and twists and turns and lumps and bumps in this course will suffer. Those who know it well will know exactly where to make the moves. Look
Exactly.
forward to
Let's
it.
have a look at some of our results because it's getting to be a really tight battle across all of our categories. So these are the standings after race 3. Category A men, Ben Ruth has got almost an unassailable lead, sitting at 191 points. John Story in second, 130. Jan Lichwak, 117. Mark Bosted, he missed last week, so we'll see if he's there tonight. Thomas Berry in fifth. On the women's side, Vanessa Murray pretty far ahead, but I have seen that Sonia Foote is out there warming up hard. Fiona Gallagher in second. Amy Hollenby very close behind in third. Charlotte Lucas in fourth. And Anthea Oliver in fifth. You take us through the Bs, Rob.
Yeah, so he's I'm trying to remember, is it Sam or Stephen? I can't remember. But anyway, Ben Roof's son. It's success runs in the genes. He's got a pretty solid lead over Tom Burgess, Stuart Lynch in third, and Tufts and Devon Manchester are having a pretty tight battle in fourth place there, fourth and fifth place. Over the women, Sarah Meadows not far ahead of Hannah Martin. We might see some attacks on the top of the table here. Margot Southgate, Saskia Holditch pretty tight there for third and fourth, and Lauren Reevy not far behind them.
And looking at the C categories after race 3, Jock Prue first, 147. Zach Holzer in second. Nick Taylor, who I've just seen is warming up on his bike in the Wattage Cottage cam, he's in third. Sam Mayhew, now he's an interesting one. He's in fourth, but I think he's categoried up again. So every race, a new category for Sam. Will be racing an A by the end of the season. And Will Vera in fifth. Deirdre Lack in first, very tight battle with Gail Harvey Hayward. It's all going to come down to tonight. Julia Spark in third, Hannah Goodall in fourth, and Gemma Scott in fifth.
And onto the Ds, we've got Andrew Bull, pretty solid lead over Grant Utteridge, Darren James, followed by Barry Herbison and Paul Miller from Triathlon Tauranga, I assume, in
That's
fifth
it.
place there. And over the women's, Michelle Allison, not far ahead of Victoria Wilshire. Ali Boggs is close in third there. Hilary Meyer and Sarah Carswell in fourth and fifth place.
And just looking through into the teams as I just click through to make sure we're following the women. Triathlon Tauranga, awesome results here, and 462 points on the top. Tri Wellington in second. Hibiscus Coast, they're in third. Canterbury Tri Club in fourth. And Auckland City in fifth. We've got you there sitting foot traffic, winning almost 400 points, going to crack the 400 tonight. CK Coaching, he's in second. Perimeter and John Newsom Coaching, they're pretty close in third and fourth. And Fitter took out Erin Furness to get onto that fifth spot. And then if we have a look, do you want to take us through?
I'm just thankful that CK hasn't let Hayden Wild do any of these races. And some of his other elite athletes, because it might be a little bit different if they were turning up.
He was actually Zwifting behind me the other day. He must have been doing a little bit of a workout. It's quite cool to see. But Rob, do you want to take us through the course for tonight as the women are already out there?
Yeah, so they head out of the start pens in town, and it's a pretty quick. Well, it's mainly uphill actually to the top of the Titans Grove, but it's a fast start, and then they make the climb, which is going to be about 4 minutes for the fastest A's and B's, and then anywhere down to sort of 5.5 minutes for the C's and D's, and then it's a pretty fast downhill, but there is a bump before you get to the bottom of Titans Grove, and those who don't know it's there are going to get caught out. It's actually a section you have to be prepared for, and once they get down onto the flat, it's a little short respite before they hit the KOM, and we all know how steep that is at the start, and it's a bit of a grind, a couple of minutes long, and then a long fast descent followed by the sprint coming quite late in this piece. And then I really like this finish. So the last kilometre is pretty much downhill to the finish, so it makes it for a really fast.
Yeah, it sure does. We'll head down with the women now. We're on board with Anthea Oliver, and they've just come through this sort of a tiny bit of dirt section. They're heading up this sort of long drag of a bridge, and then they're going to head into Titans Grove, which I personally find really tricky. It's sort of it's really up and down and rolling, and it's very hard, I find, to get a rhythm. And sometimes if your trainer has any sort of delay, it really hurts, and you sort of have to catch back on. You're getting dropped. It's a bit yo-yo-y. I mean, I don't know how you find it, but I find this bit particularly hard.
Yeah, a few large group rides in here, and the groups get split apart pretty quickly. So at least with this one being a smaller group, they should be able to stay together pretty well. But it starts out reasonably shallow, but the steepest section, which is only about a minute and a half long, is actually quite tough and and those athletes who can get over the top well and still in touch with the lead will really benefit from that. It's just, but it is one where you really have to commit to it early. You can't sort of sit back and wait. In fact, I think where the KOM starts. I think the effort will already be on that lump before you get to that section. So I don't think these people should be KOM banner itself to start, or the
Yeah.
KOM points to start. It's actually going to be from pretty much when they turn off this road. It'll start climbing significantly. But keep in mind they've been for pretty much since kilometre zero
Yeah.
in this section. But the group stayed together pretty well. There's only a 10-second gap back to the majority of the Bs. There's a couple made it into this front group, so that's smart riding by them. But it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it happens when the pressure goes on.
Yeah, I mean, we're on here with Sonia Foote, and I was saying to Rob before we went live, wow, she does a warm up. This was an intense warm up. I could see her on from about 15 minutes before her race started, doing some efforts, do some dynamic stretching, getting all set up. And I am personally very excited to see the battle between Sonia Foote and Vanessa Murray. We've seen Britt Lytton is unfortunately sick again. It is the best out of 4 races out of 6. So if you do miss a couple, you can still do fairly well. But yeah, this battle between Sonia Foote, Com Games mountain biker, it's going to be pretty interesting to watch, I think. I don't think Vanessa Murray, who has managed to get away with a lot of bonus points, will have it all her own way tonight.
Yeah, I mean, testing the two athlete types. You got your mountain biker, who's the explosive, punchy type rider, versus the age group world champion Ironman athlete who sits there for a long time at steady power. So who suited more to this course? We don't know. I mean, this could be a really good test because it does actually require strength in both sections. But looking at it, Fiona Gallagher's actually she's the dominant one right now. She's really pushing ahead, and Sarah Meadows is doing a great job to sit with her. Well, Sonia Foote closes that gap over again. So it's just going to be chopping and changing on this lead for a wee while yet before we sort of see them settle into the key selection is made.
Yeah, and we've just the men have actually just started their race as well, so we're on board with them. There's a big field tonight, actually in the men's A category. See Gordon McCauley there as well. Mark Bosted is racing tonight, so we'll head across to the men after the women go through their first point section, which is the Titans Grove KQOM. So there's 3 point section tonight. The first one is Titans Grove. The next one is at about 16 kilometers. So they've got a bit of a break between the two. Then you've got a sprint to finish, and this is where it's sort of how do you play it, because you've got a sprint and then about 3 kilometers later you've got the finish line. So how they're going to do that, I've done this course, it's very hard to go all out in that sprint and then hold on for the finish, so it might end up being a little bit tactical.
And after that sprint, there is actually a little climb, not a steep one, but enough to really sap the legs as you go through the S's. What's your bike choice for this one, Anna? I mean, this is a course with everything. This is an all-rounders course, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good question. I think you can see a few trons there. I'd almost kind of go. I do like the chapter Toa, because chapter 2 Toa, because that is a New
Yeah,
Zealand brand. I can see maybe one or two
and that
riders on
tested
that.
very highly on the latest speed tests as well.
Yeah,
So that's a good
exactly.
option.
So I do like that
Um,
one, and with maybe some Envy sort of 7.8s or something.
yeah, I am seeing someone on a disc there, and I'm trying to it is because they've turned up with the strategy of I'm the fastest sprinter and I'm going to rip your legs off in the sprint. But they're going to be hanging on this climb to just drag themselves over it. It's these two tough climbs to pull a disc over, and if they can get over with the field, then they've got a great chance in that sprint. But I think it is an all-rounder. It's your Cervelo S5 2020, or it's the Venge, S-Works Venge, and it's the Chaps Tutoa, Scott Foil. Those paired with a deep section wheel would make a big difference. And now we're onto this little pinch, 7% down to 4%. It's just hurts the section. I could just feel it.
Yeah,
And we've
this
got
is,
Fiona Gallagher,
yeah.
who's she's intending on breaking this field up, and
Yeah,
she's doing a great job of it.
she's lighting it up, which I like to see. She is a teammate of mine. Just before we get into the climb, I do want to shout out to our key sponsor here, Domestique. Barry over at Domestique. He's not racing this season. Sometimes he gets on to race. But for those of you who kind of want to give this a go but don't want to invest totally in a trainer at the moment, he does do rentals and helps you with a full setup. And he's actually helped us set up our hubs around New Zealand, of which we have a few who are getting involved, but they're in Tauranga and Canterbury. You can always head over to there too and give this kind of racing a try. This field is already thinning out with Anthea Oliver pushing off the front and Sonia a little bit further back, just kind of yo-yoing a little bit here. I can see she's working really hard too.
That was the key selection, and Anthea, I think, realised that, and she made that move to get across that group. And you can see Hannah Martin doing the same thing. If Hannah gets on here, it's going to change the B race significantly, because she is not far behind in second, and she will be the first B in the field, and she's made it across, and they've got 3 rest of the group. So I think that's the key selection right there. Anthea and Hannah did an amazing effort to get across to that, and Hannah's going to benefit from this if she can stick with them over the climb. And as you can see, we have been climbing, but we haven't actually got to the proper climb itself yet. This is the prelude. These are the foothills to the
This is
main KOM.
the last little downhill, and they'll go around this right-hander, and then you'll see on the ground some neon green lights that indicates the start of the climb proper, and that's where we're going to. Who are you picking for this one, Rob? For this first points? I mean, it's hard to go past Vanessa Murray.
Yeah, I think Vanessa will do it. I think she will. That field behind, they're coming back at them.
Look at them on that downhill.
Look at that! Wow,
they've come back on. That is very.
And is that the benefit of the size of the group, or is that 1 or 2 people that really commit?
Big group who just came back on.
Really, all that work that Anthea and Hannah did.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been nullified. So we've got a race on here. I was getting quite excited. I coach Hannah; she's going to ride away with us, but gee, no, it's back in here. So now they're on the proper QOM, and it is a steady climb to the top. And it's twisty turny, and then you can see it in the distance. They can see it on the mini map in front of them, and they'll know that banner's coming, but it just doesn't come soon enough. You can see them getting stretched out. So that effort has paid the price for a few of them. And there we go. Fiona and Vanessa are on the front, and they're just under 6 watts a kilo, steady state.
I feel like Fiona's come to this race tonight with just a bit of a different mentality. She seems way more aggressive than she has in the past races. So this is great to see.
She's got the Irish up, eh? She is ready for a fight.
She is really ready for a fight and pushing off. You can see Sonia here working pretty hard. Surprised she's not out of the saddle. A little tip to those racing: if you want to actually perform really well on these hills, get up out of the saddle like she's doing now and absolutely grind it. That is how to generate the most power on an indoor trainer on these kind of climbs. And look at the difference that's done getting out of the saddle. Look at that. You can just see it.
Just a little bit of trainer lag, and then suddenly it's shot. And straight away she's moved up, and Vanessa's made the move to counter her. Vanessa's seen it, and she's coming across. So smart riding.
185. Yeah. I think she's going to take this out because she's look at the watch.
I think Vanessa's going to get over it. Oh, Vanessa's on the disc as well.
I don't know. I think Sonia is working extremely hard. I think she's going to just try and tap on. No, she's
no.
Vanessa Murray, 7 watts a kg. That is very impressive. She's got a punch. For a triathlete, she's got a real punch. And Sonia's going to get rolled here by Anthea Oliver.
Anthea's
what
coming
a performance. Up good. That's something I haven't seen in a while. We'll head over and have a look at this side by side. Ben Ruth, of course, has been putting in a couple of early attacks, as he always does. But has been, if you watch here, PC Yoda. Now, if you're wondering who that is Aaron Bleakley. I call him PC Yoda. Because he helped me build my computer that we're actually streaming all this racing on. So huge thanks to him. He, really, really helped me out there. And this is why we're getting very clear, crisp images from the way he helped. So
and he's kind of Ben Ruth's he's sort of Ben Ruth's sports director in the team as well. So he's probably been in Ben's ear all week, priming him for this race and knowing exactly what they're doing. And they've got a 4-second lead over Bobby Cowles, but Mark Boasted, John Story, Jan Lichwark. That's a significant little gap for these two, and I'd say that they'll stay away and get the points. So Aaron's done a great job telling Ben what to do, so he can just follow him.
Yeah,
Smart
no,
move.
he's I'm
And
actually
Aaron's on a
very
disc.
I'm impressed that Aaron is being able to stay with Ben Ruth here because look at that gap to the guys behind. And this shows me you can get back on. So I don't know, the other guys, maybe they're just sort of, Ben Ruth is trying to get in a super tuck there at not the right kilometers, so he just freewheeled there for a while. I would say that's not
Oh,
the
there it
right
goes
time
again.
to super tuck. It's not a good time to do that.
Course
And that's
knowledge. Course knowledge helps.
that's too short there. The downhills, Ben. But it looks like he may end up taking this away again. Gordon McCauley's actually in this crew and looking not too bad. He's made that front little group, so great job there as well from Gordon McCauley.
Yeah, and there's Dave Goodall's in there, him back racing again after a bout of COVID, and there's some names there that we sort of see that over the first couple of weeks had been strung out quite early, and they're staying in for long. Poley, he's a super strong rider as well. He's good to see him there. Bobby Cowles, as we know. This is a strong field and a large group. So those, I mean, that with the two even though they'll probably gobble up the points, they won't. I don't think they'll stay away because this group's quite large, and they can work together and pull them back. But as we can see that is that Thomas Berry now?
It
Where's he
is.
sitting? He's
He's
broken
in
away and he's
third,
in
yeah.
third.
I saw those
He's
orange
just rolled off in
numbers
front of Mark Boasted.
and could see him on the
So Mark's
caught
chasing
out
him hard.
the corner of my eye that he was working very hard. And again, a tip to
He
those
might catch.
watching
He
is
might
out of the
catch on to
saddle.
them.
I think he might.
Yeah,
He's
he's onto the front two guys, and here comes Mark Boasted over the top of him,
yeah,
and
Boasted's
Mark's all on
going very
disc as
hard.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
There.
Mark has the intention of Sprinter as well because he's taking the disc with him. He knows that he can get over these climbs just on pure power, uh, and that's actually really move those four riders now.
Yeah, this is not as. I don't think Ben Ruth is going to get away with this as much as he wants. And I think Mark Boasted
Here's Mark coming up to
may
them.
actually come through and pass. So great job from Mark Boasted.
Oh, Mark
Ben Ruth
Boasted,
has
wow.
got nothing. So that's PC Yoda, Aaron Bleakley may roll him over the line. I think Mark's got him out. So
No, I
PC
think
Yoda, Aaron
yeah.
Bleakley in second on that first lot of points. Ben Ruth on third, which we haven't seen in a while. Thomas Berry in fourth, and John Story and Bobby Cowles, the brothers-in-law. The battle of the brothers coming through, and this has strung out. Where's this group behind?
Yeah,
Way back.
that absolutely explode. We could hear the explosions from here. You and I, and you guys are in a different part of the world.
Oh,
So Dave Goodall's sitting here with looks like he's got KJ, Andy Hagen. He's got some strong riders. So he can split. They've still got some firepower behind them, and I just wonder is the group in front. Well, they got 13. They got quite a bit of a lead. I don't think they're going to come back together, but the minor placings are still up for grabs, and a lot of points still available for these riders. But that is a key section. It's so early in as well. As you can see, 10 minutes in, the importance of the warm up is just can't be underestimated in a course like this.
yeah, and having a look where they've just gone, basically here is where they are on the course. So they've gone over that big climb, the Titans Grove. That was the first opportunity for points. They're coming down this long downhill, but they've got about 10 kilometers. You can see just coming up around there is where they'll hit the next climb. So it's just after 15K. It's a Watopia, and it's the very steep part. I actually raced on that this morning, and yeah, it's you've got to go up to around the sort of 9 watts a kg
I
up
hate
that
it.
first part to get away.
I hate it.
Oh, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's all right.
The problem is it's draftable at the top, but yeah, sure, it might be draftable. You got to be able to keep you got to be able to keep the power down, and that just drains me.
Yeah,
And the problem,
it's brutal.
one thing you can see about this descent is it's sure it's going downhill, but it's not steep enough to aero tuck, super tuck. So you really got to keep pedaling. This is what makes it such a tough course is they've got to be pedaling the whole time. You can't super tuck down this section of the course, and those riders that know that and they can keep the pressure on will absolutely gap those riders behind it. They're just hoping for a bit of respite, but just don't get it.
And a little bit of a tip to all the parents of young children out there. This part of the course in Titans Grove actually has a area with a whole lot of dinosaurs. So I've found if you want to get your sort of kids interested in Zwift, I always ride this part and get them to spot all the dinosaurs. So there we go. If you're playing along at home, you'll see a few T-Rexes, pterodactyls, stegosauruses, brachiosauruses. There's a whole lot out
Megasaurus.
there. Yep. I know a lot about dinosaurs now, and there's a whole lot around here. So it's a great course to ride.
It is. I actually enjoy this section. It was cool when they opened it up because it just made something just new and interesting. I'll often leave the town in Watopia and turn on straight onto this section because I do quite like it for its variety, and it's just yeah, it is quite nice. There's not often many people riding around there, so it's just a nice chance to get into your own little world.
Yep. And
But looking at
the women's
it looks like
side,
that B.
the B Cats, they all dropped off, and we are kind of closely watching the battle here, the close battle between Sarah Meadows and Hannah Martin. Now, they are in this group together, so they dropped off on that.
Yeah.
From that group at the front. They're about 14 seconds back. They may end up catching up if they're motivated to, or if they're really just motivated to have a sort of B battle here. That's what's going to happen. But they are together, those two riders, Hannah Martin and Sarah Meadows.
Yeah, we unfortunately missed the points for that one because that would have been quite a crucial one to see with them being so close. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play that tactics. They just wait for the next points on offer and chase those, or does one of them try to attack and split the others? It's going to be a tough thing to decide. Actually, the men's race has really come back together now. So that group, even though the guys had got away and taken some points, they've obviously been quite happy for a few others to get into them and just to reintegrate themselves. Bit of chat going on there.
Yeah, I know. There's always chat going on in that men's race.
I can't believe people can chat. They have enough energy to do that.
Oh, I know. So they do have about another 5 kilometers till they hit the next climb. Probably a good time, actually, Rob, to chat about some IRL events coming up. We're just chatting about it pre-show. We've got, I think, just a great buzz around the fact that events are pretty much a sure thing now. And we've got the Pukekohe Duathlon coming up on the 14th of August. I'm going to enter. And you've actually laid it down there
Wow.
that you're going to enter.
Yeah,
We could.
yeah.
I'm going to
I
get
might
into
have to do that.
some. I don't know where your fitness is at, but we could put a little side wager on this, Rob.
Yeah.
We'll see how. I
Well,
don't
I'm
know.
marathon fit, but I'm not. We'll see how the biking is.
Okay, I'm indoor trainer fit, so we'll see how it goes in the real world. Um, and yeah, so love to see everyone out there at that one. And then you've also got Tin Man, which is coming up a bit further down the track. That's the 20th of November, which is another one I think I might do. It's been a couple of years since I've done it, so it'd be nice to
It's a cool
get to
race.
Tauranga. Yeah, great race, run really well. Always has kind of a good vibe around it. So yeah, no, it'd be awesome. As we are actually seeing on the women's side, as I see here, I'll call it the B group, so the B category riders are catching up to that A group, 7 seconds behind now.
And that's interesting, isn't it? It just shows that the dynamics of the group and the motivation of the riders in that group. You know, the front ones are clearly looking at each other. They know the points are there. They know they're leading on the table. They don't need to win the race, but they do have to be there to win the points. And the B's behind and some of the A's can see the opportunity there. And so it is. I mean, it's only 7 seconds. They can see them in the distance. Takes a bit of commitment from the team, but I think there's enough distance before they get to the next KOM that I think they will tap onto the back, putting out higher watts per kilo, which it looks like they are. They're all sort of high threes, low fours, whereas the group in front look to be sitting around low to mid threes. Should bring them back in.
I think they will.
Um,
7 seconds back, they're in their sights.
yeah,
Yeah, this is why not? Just go for it.
there's a little ramp coming out of the tunnel here, and I've found that those little ramps are enough just to get back on the back of a group if you've just been tailed off, because it only takes a little bit more to put out some more watts to get over them, and those riders might just be a bit complacent to that, and they might just let them roll in without being aware of it.
Exactly. Looking at the men's and the side by side now, Mark Bosted's going. He went on a little bit of a raid there, went off the front for a bit. I think he's just sick of this happening to him from Ben Ruth, so he's going on the attack. And now we've got, is it Jack Polly
Yeah, big
from
Jack Poley.
Toyota Cryo? So he's a very, very good in game racer. I've seen him a few
He's
times actually in
actually
the
he's
Premier
actually
League.
yeah, and he's actually great real life as well. He's raced NZ Cycle Classic, and I think he might have a Southern this year as well. So he's a really strong rider. He's an absolute beast in the machine.
And Ben Ruth, what is oh, this something's happened
Wow,
here. He is
30 seconds.
30 seconds back. This is whoa. I have no idea what has
What's
happened to
happened
Ben
there?
Ruth, but he is was it a dropout? Was he just has he cooked himself too early? Something is up with Ben Ruth today.
Well,
He's actually not on the rider cam, so I'm just wondering if he's not feeling it today. He's got Gordon Macaulay breathing down his neck too. These guys can see them catching up. This is a
is he
huge
using his
shake-up.
other leg? Is he using his wrong leg? Like
I
he's only
know.
used one
Yeah,
leg every other race, and
exactly.
he's just realised that his left leg's not as strong as his right,
Yeah,
and
this
he's just dropped himself back.
is wow. This is going to create a
This table's
huge
up for
change
grabs.
with Mark Bosten in this
Yeah,
front group. I mean, he missed the race last week. When it gets down to the best of four, he'll catch up pretty quick on those points. And we've still got Polly here raiding off the front. A little bit of a gap, 3 seconds, and they are about 2-ish kilometers away from hitting that next K. And we're going to get the women's race up as well because they're hitting that a bit sooner. And these women 6 seconds back now, very close to getting on the back of this group at the front.
yeah. That's see, and here they come out of that ramp, um, and it's just strung out. I just love this sort of racing. It's just all on.
Yeah. This is we'll head over and watch them because they're gonna go over this flat part. They're gonna take a left hander, and then they're gonna be hitting up the climb. And this group has just cruised a little bit too much, and they're gonna be this is the problem though. They're gonna get caught right at the base of the climb, and then it's gonna be the
Yeah,
same issue as they'll just get
it's gonna
dropped
be the
again
worst place to get
when
caught.
when
Yeah,
these guys open up. They're literally gonna catch on here. So we've
all
got
that great work they're doing.
yeah, we've got Heather Neal really pushing off the front to try and catch up. And yeah, unfortunately, they're going to catch right at the bottom of the climb with these hitters in here. Now, this climb, I mean, we had, they're like the flying duck formation there. But we have Vanessa Murray
Yeah,
take out the first one. It's a bit, Sonia Foot maybe went a touch too early. Fiona Gallagher actually had a really fast time up the last one, but I don't think she made most use of the draft because it is only first across line. Who are we picking for this one, Rob?
uh, I I mean Fiona's strengths are really in that TT mode, and I think it's too short a punchy climb. I'm going to say Sonia. I'm the steepest section is where it's going to really benefit Sonia, and she has the torque to get over that gear, and she gets out of the saddle and she really drives it. Um, Although it does flatten out at the top, Vanessa's great when at the end of that section. I still think Sonia's probably going to get it, but only purely because it is such a short climb, and she is such a weapon when it comes to these short things. Oh, there's that group in the distance, just about caught on at the bottom. I feel for them.
Oh, devastating. We'll be on board with Sonia for this climb. She's
So
who's
she's
this
just
rider
at
at
the
the
back,
front
but
actually?
she's
Vanessa Murray's looking very fashionable in game, I've got
yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
That's looking great.
So
Um,
Sonia's not moving up like we thought she might have. What's she doing? 80 RPM, 300 watts. Yeah, I think there might be a trainer lag in there because we saw before where she really jumped forward and piped the group really as soon as that power went down, and here she comes now. She's moving through. She's putting a lot
yeah.
of effort
Now
out. 330 watts.
this is actually a very interesting tactical climb because you can go way too hard on this part, and then basically the rest of the climb after this left-hand hairpin is draftable. And so she's actually
Yeah,
playing this pretty well because you can go way too hard, say Vanessa Murray off the front, and then you're just cooked. And someone who's taken it a touch easier just gets in the draft and then just rolls you at the finish. Now this could be what Sonia Foot is doing. We've
yeah.
actually got who's dropping off the back there? Amy Hollenby. It
And Hollenby.
surprises me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming around this left hander now, it flattens off a bit. They will draft, and then basically it's about 300 meters to go once they get sort of just near these trees coming up.
That didn't play out. They've set up. They've like I mean they're still putting out some solid effort, but they're not. Then because Amy's got back in again, so they're really looking at the points. They know that it's point. Sonia Foot hasn't made the move with those three either. Fiona's at the front. Fiona's actually here comes Sonia. She's moving up now a little bit. So it's Jesus, it is anybody's race, and they're not really putting out big watts right now to suggest they're in a sprint.
Yeah, no, it's
Get around the bend.
Yeah, it's 200 meters to go. If Sonia's going to look how hard she's working though,
Anthea Oliver.
they're not taking
Oh,
it
so there's a
easy.
power up. There's a power up being
That's
used.
Vanessa Murray. She's
Vanessa,
gone very
and she
hard
just
off the
rolled them.
front. Yeah,
Yeah, there she goes.
and the
And
men
she's got the
as
disc. She's
well
got some aerodynamic advantage.
are on the steepest part of the climb. So just watching what's happened there. Vanessa Murray looks like she's going to take that one out. Anthea Oliver, impressive. That's two
Yeah,
second places and Fiona in third. They're having a great race actually. And just looking at Sonia, a
great
little
job.
bit, she has to get in front of Amy here and get back on those other two because it's a downhill and she doesn't want to lose touch. We'll have a look
Yeah,
at what the men are up to. They're almost on the same part of the course. Bobby Kells? Is this
Bobby
right? Bobby
Kells. He's
Kells.
having a crack. Bobby Kells is having a crack. Good on him. He's doing the opposite. This is what I thought we would have seen in the women's race, where it was as one solo effort up the steepest part of the climb. Bobby's just gone at it. He's got a 2 second lead. He's got to hang on to that. Mark boasted 3 seconds. He's probably the strongest one in that chasing group. And I think we'll see Mark moving up on him. He'll probably close that 3 seconds down. But if it gets to about 100 meters to go and Bobby hasn't, it's only 1 second now. I think they're going to catch Bobby, and I think Mark's probably, even though he's still in third, I think it's probably going to be enough distance to the
Look how
banner.
hard Bobby's going though. 600 watts.
Yeah,
8.6
he's
watts a
pushing it.
kg. I don't think they're going to get him. I
Oh,
mean, look
I
how
might be
close.
wrong.
100 meters.
100 meters. Well,
And they're fighting for second now. I think
yeah,
this great job, Bobby Kells. John Story, his brother-in-law, is chasing him down so hard. He will not like this. I know John's mum watches all of the streams. So John coming in second. Mark Bosted third there. PC Yoda,
well, they
Aaron
really let
Blakely.
Bobby get away with that, didn't they?
That was that's pushing Bobby into rider of the night for me. That was a very good
Yeah,
performance there from Bobby Kells.
yeah. There's probably two potential riders of the night. Well, one of the women's obviously. I think we got to put Anthea Oliver in the
Yeah,
in for that one, because she made that selection across. She did that really hard work at the Titans Grove, and then she got a heap of points in that last banner, which is so important. We'll see eventually see how the rest of the race plays out. But right now, she's probably my rider of the night, the women's,
I
and
am.
like you say, John Story for the
Yeah,
men.
Bobby Kells for the men.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Bobby Kells, yeah,
Now, got eyes on Sarah Meadows here. She's in no woman's land, but she's got to look how fast she's riding. Now,
yeah.
the reason she's doing
She's over
this,
Hannah.
Hannah Martin is 5 seconds back. So this
Yeah,
is a huge. It's a huge part of the race here for these
that's
two,
important.
battling it out for first and second. Now, she's not going to make it to the next group. She's 25 seconds back, and Hannah Martin is not closing. So they could end up just having
No,
to do an individual TT all the way to the finish. Because the thing is, if Sarah Meadows stays away, she'll also mop up all the points for the sprint without actually having to sprint.
Hannah's got Heather Neal with her, and I think if she can convince, if she hopefully Heather's got the intention of catching up to Sarah Meadows, because if she does, then it's going to be great for Hannah. And there's a group with Hannah, so yeah, now it's going to be very difficult for Sarah to stay away to the sprint banner, to the sprint points. Um, but 9 seconds. Well, she's still she's not mucking around. Knows there's something on there.
It's all the downhill, though. This downhill doesn't serve her well. She needs all
Yeah,
flat or uphill because this group behind
and
is going
she's in
to
the
move
tuck.
a lot faster. She obviously knows how to ride on Zwift. She's in the super tuck. She's got
Yeah,
7 seconds only, though. We're just going to see the group. There we go. Kind of just sitting there at the bottom of the climb. That downhill would have hurt her a little bit, but she's still riding. If we look at how fast she's riding, it's about 19.7 kilometers an hour. These guys riding 19.8, so it's not much of a difference. So if she's
no,
prepared to TT to the end and these guys aren't going to work behind her, she could do
it's an uncomfortable ride. I feel for her.
it.
6 seconds.
Yeah, it's
It's
not fun.
it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. And if she stays away, well, she's race as well.
Yeah,
So many
exactly.
amazing performances coming from this.
Oh, okay. If she stays away, I'll give her rider of the night.
Yeah,
And we'll see what comes out in the men's race. We've got about 4 kilometers on both sides, with just a bit less until they hit the sprint. The men's race, they've just come through on the downhill, and it's really this top group of 5 who've managed to. They've just got Thomas Berry dropping off, unfortunately, on the downhill. So he's going to have to do a lot of
Mm,
work here to get back on.
that's a mortal sin. How can you let that happen?
I know. Oh
I've
my
I've been
God, what a
dropped on
downer.
downhills before. It's terrible. It's so embarrassing. It's the
And it
it's the problem of being a lightweight.
he's going to get back on, so that's good. I can see the relief on his face in his rider cam. And Sarah Meadows is looking like she could get caught. Laura Wood was leading the charge there for a little while, but it looks as though she will get caught as the lead pack of women. It's really been detonated. They've just got a couple of kilometers till they hit the sprint. Now, it could be a case like last week where the men and the women are basically going to hit the sprint together. So we'll stay with the
Yeah, I think the women will get there
yeah.
first. I think the women will
Women
get
will
there
get there
first.
first. We'll go eyes on the women
Yeah,
first.
yeah, because they're just coming to the villas now, so that's about a 21-second, 22-second sprint. And as they get around this next sort of left and right hander, you'll see the green lines on the road, and it's a long sprint, and it's obviously there's not fastest through points on this. It is first across the line, but you see that green line on the road, and suddenly you get shot out of a cannon because you think it's all on now. But be interesting to see if anyone does that, or if they wait till maybe the last of the sprint. Right-hander, then a left, and then they'll see it in front of them.
Yeah, I actually
At this
hate this
stage, no
sprint.
one's.
I never time it right ever. I raced
No,
it this
it's
morning.
terrible.
I go way too late, and then by the time I get going, everyone's sort of made it to the front. But these guys,
No one's cracking yet. No one's going
I think
for
they're
it.
tired. To be fair,
Here goes Sonia. Here goes Sonia. So Sonia's got a little lead there,
Fiona coming
and
through,
Sonia
but
should.
yeah, Sonia's taken it,
Sonia's taken
and
it.
Vanessa in second now. Not
I
long
wouldn't call that a
until
sprint. I would
no,
just sort of call that a slight lift and effort.
I'd say that
And she did well.
they seem very tired, is how I would say
Yeah,
that. It's when you don't see people.
I
I'm
think you're
looking
right.
actually. I'll get it for the finish line on Sonia. I mean, she is working. Her and
Mm.
I've got Thomas Berry as well. They are. Yeah, it's pretty hard what they're doing there.
So let's see what happens here then. So we've got Mark Bosted with the disc wheel. The rest of them are on Trons. Bleakley's on a disc as well. So they're probably the two fastest on the road. But again, it comes down to who puts out the biggest power. And again, they're not chasing it either. They're biding their time. They're waiting for the last.
Oh,
Someone's got to go. 200 to go. And who is that?
Lichwak, very
Oh,
early.
Jan.
Yard Lichwak.
And
He's
Mark's chasing him. I think Mark's used power up. Mark will get over him. Come around this corner. I think Mark's got the momentum on him.
oh, that was close.
Ooh, that's very close. Ooh, that is close.
Yeah, that's
That was a good sprint.
that'll be back to see the points. That could be a little bit different from what we think. Got some fans out here for Jan Lichwak as well, coming in from Wayne Ellis. Dig it in. Jan is looking good. I
Yeah,
mean, he is a damn good sprinter. So to see
he
him
is. I
at the
raced with Jan on the
finish,
road, and he's a real force on the road. Like he just puts himself everywhere, and he can just put out the watts. It's quite remarkable to watch.
now we will go side by side because on the women's race, Sonia Foote has been dropped, as has Anthea Oliver, and it's a battle between these three. So Vanessa Murray, Fiona, and Amy Hollenby, who I'm
What a race!
what
Wow.
a race because she was yo-yoing at the start. She's obviously not felt great at the beginning and then come into some real form throughout the race. And I would be worried with her sprint out of these three, but I'm going to call it that.
Vanessa.
I'm going to go Fiona.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Just because she's on a disc
Okay.
and it's a downhill, it's a fast finish. But if Fiona wants to win it, Fiona needs to go from a long way out, which is a really, really good. And I just know that Fiona was doing a lot of work earlier, so you might. That's a tough call.
It is tough. We are
I'm
going
gonna,
Anthea Oliver for Rider of the Night on the women's side, just with managing to
yeah,
score a lot of bonus points after looking like she was going to drop at the beginning. So congrats to Anthea Oliver. And we'll call the men maybe after we see this finish. What do you think?
yeah. I think the men's are still up in the air right now. Um, just looking at the comparative sprints, Vanessa is only slightly more powerful in 15 second than Fiona, and Vanessa's used a little bit more power through the course of this race than Fiona has, which is a surprise. I thought Fiona might have put out a little bit more relative, but here we are coming now with probably 200, 300 to go. Fiona's on the front, and Amy Hollenby's moving up on her. Vanessa's just put it down
Oh, no,
16
Fiona's
watts
looking
kilo.
right.
Oh, it's close.
Oh, this is going to be
Yeah,
close. We'll see if Fiona
this
has
is
got the
close.
sprint to
Oh,
the
the power
end.
up.
No,
Oh, did you use it?
she's fallen apart. Looks like Vanessa
So you
Murray
can win a
has
sprint
taken that out, and I've got to quickly head over to
with a
watch the
feather power up.
men's race
You
because
can
they.
win a sprint with a feather.
I know it's not great. The feather's not great for the sprint. Oh, who are we picking here? I'm gonna
Mark.
go
Mark
Mark
Bosted.
Bosted. Really? Okay. I'm
Yep.
gonna go.
Yep.
No, he's gone too early. PC Yoda.
Gee, he has gone early, hasn't he? And Mark's chasing
Too
him.
early.
I don't think Mark wants to get beaten twice by a Jan.
Oh
And
wow! I think you caught
he
it right.
looked at
Mark
the and
Bosted's looking very strong here.
well,
Thomas
it's a
Berry
strong.
though, 16 watts. Wow! But
Gee,
Mark Bosted.
and he's going to roll Jan.
Whoa!
Oh,
Whoa!
Thomas is coming
What
up on
is
him.
that?
Oh,
Oh,
look at that
whoa.
finish.
Thomas taking out Jan in third. How did Thomas come away with that? That was pretty
16 watts. That's how
impressive.
he came away with it. That
Jeez.
is
We'll have a look at the replay of that because that's pretty impressive. We'll head into the women's and the men's replay as I go around and try and find us some other category riders to follow for a bit. See who else is out there.
probably.
But how did Thomas
I
Berry
probably
take
should have done
that?
some. Well, I probably should have done some homework because I'm looking at Thomas. He's got a 17 watt per kilo,
All
15
right.
second PB versus
Okay.
Mark's 13.3. So that's that's a significant sprinter. That's amazing. And Jan's 14.6. So, the fastest sprinter won that race, which
Yeah.
is it was quite a remarkable race. It was very impressive.
That was a sprint that I've not seen in a while. So yeah, kudos to him.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal. Very, very
really
good
cool.
work. And yes, I went with Jan Littruck too, Wayne, who's coming into chat. But yeah, just couldn't went a little too early, I would say. And on the women's replay here, you can see. I thought Fiona might have had it. It was a bit of a mano a mano battle here between Fiona and Vanessa Murray, but Vanessa Murray, she's just a lot more dominant in the sprints than I think we gave her credit for, and
Yeah,
making
and I
this way.
think Amy Hollenby used that power up at the wrong time. Just looking when she used it and when she put the power down, it didn't match up. She should have put the power down first, got the same speed as the girls ahead of her, and then used the power up to make that draft. I think it was just a timing thing for her. It would have made a little bit of difference. Probably wouldn't have changed the overall result, but she might have been a bit closer. But this men's race, oh, this was a finish. Thomas Berry's he's done a huge amount for Ride of the Night with that one.
Yeah. Actually, should we give it to him? We'll give Ride of the Night to Thomas
Yeah,
Berry. I think that's he
yeah, I
well
think so.
deserved that.
That was impressive. Yeah, he really showed. He showed patience, and he hadn't gone. He was the three guys were already sprinting before he actually jumped. So it was quite a long gap. So he actually waited. He bided his time. He knew when it was going to work for him. He knew that he had 15-second sprint in him, was higher than anybody else, and he timed it perfectly. And all along, we thought Mark Bosted was going to win it.
Yeah, I know.
And it just
And there we
shows
go.
that
So
there he is
quick.
at 16.3, which is right up where with his best. So he was racing for that line.
Yep. Look at that.
That's quite a remarkable finish.
Very quick from him, and awesome result. Just rolling through over Mark Bosted right pretty much at the line. Perfectly timed. Do just want to quickly take us
Yeah.
to the B women's race. In the men, they are coming through for their finish to see who takes this one out. Very early here from Clarkey from NZ Bro.
Oh, Craig Clark. Yeah, foot traffic athlete. Good on him.
He's getting chased by Ellen.
Oh, he's going to get caught, though.
Oh, no, I don't think he will. He will.
Oh, no, he got
almost
it.
to
He's
the
safe.
line.
He was safe.
So
Great ride by
good
Craig
job
there.
and then we've got the Sea Cat here with Jock Prue. He is, I think, leading the Sea Cat at the moment. So pretty. Oh, that clicked right off him. They've all finished. So all coming into the line, and I do actually have very quickly Gail Harvey Hayward too, who I'm trying to figure out what's happened in the C women's category. She's leading it, and it looks like from a
9
breakaway.
seconds.
9
Katrina
seconds
Shaw's,
on.
yeah, they got quite a lead on the rest of them. So that must have blown apart on the QOM.
Yeah, so she's got Katrina Shaw's just behind her, and then we've got Deirdre Lack also a bit further back, and then we've got a sort of a bit of a ones and twos all over the show in the C category.
And a
Brenda
good all.
Watton, rhymes like cotton, um, with a little hologram rider with her. So that's an
Hang on.
interesting one to see.
What's going on there?
Weird.
Or
Okay.
maybe, yeah,
That's
that's
clicking around all bizarre. But yeah, Brenda Watton there. Great job from her because I know she had to cat up. So it looks like she's done pretty well there
brilliant.
for the race to stay in it. So that was actually a
That
lot
was
faster, I
exhausting.
thought, too. Yeah, about 30 minutes, 35 minutes for the men
Yeah.
and 40 minutes for the women. I'm exhausted watching that.
Yeah, that was yeah, and again, I mean, every week we see better and better race tactics, and we really saw now riders that are committing from the start and really creating those gaps. And then we've got riders who know exactly where their strengths lie, and they wait for the right moment that works for them.
Yeah.
And that strategy is what wins races, as we saw with Thomas Berry. It was
Yeah,
perfect.
exactly. So we're coming into, that was race 4, 2 more races to go. So it is the best of
Ooh,
4 races. So what we'll see in race 5 after that is a whole lot of mixing up of points for people who couldn't make one of the first 4 and then can make the last one. So yeah, these races are just going to heat up more and more. I'm thinking about what we do for the next series leading into some of these in real life events. So it'll be a shorter series. Want to kind of mix it up, try something new. So thinking maybe some eliminator races, maybe some hill climb efforts.
cool.
But let us know what you'd like to see, and we'll try and make it happen. But yeah, what's your key takeaways from this race, Rob? How can people get better leading into the next one?
I think course awareness. I reckon that's the number one thing. Course awareness and having a plan, some scenarios of how you think the race. What if the race plays out like this? How are you going to deal with it this way? What happens if this happens? How are you going to deal with that? Because you can't go into it blindly now, because we've seen that the skill level is so much higher than it has been in previous years. That
Yeah,
you need to know the course, you need to know what works for you, you need to have a strategy, and if your strategy doesn't work, you need to be able to quickly change it and think, what am I going to do now? How am I going to get around this? And the other thing is, and one thing you've always said, Anna, and I always think about it at the wrong time, is it's just like 3 more pedal strokes to get
yeah,
on the back.
yeah,
And sometimes I've been dropped and I thought, I all I needed to do was 3 more pedal strokes and would have got on the
yeah.
back, and it's too late now.
There's nothing more devastating than not making that front group and then seeing that the front group has gone easy. And you're like, I could have been
Yeah,
up there relaxing now, but now I'm just stuck back here trying to chase. So yeah, no, that's a good
absolutely.
point. Well, I'm going to be zwifting my little heart out and prep for this Pukekohe duathlon now that I'm got this little side wager. I'll see how I can go up against the marathon runner. Would you class yourself as a
Yeah.
marathon runner now?
No, no. I'm a nothing.
Well, that's going to
No,
be awesome.
no.
We've haven't got long to go for that. About 6 weeks. 2 more races of the esports series, series 1. Thanks to Domestique, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. We'll see you later. Cheers.